What's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Chelsea have won a football match, kept a clean sheet, scored multiple goals, and people are talking about how good Cole Palmer really is. Pochettino has given insight of his tactical change, and people are thinking, wow, if they can get the best out of Cole Palmer, how far can Chelsea go? Of course, Nkunku is coming back to the side. There is 21 Premier League games to go. Could we qualify for Europe?
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
I was going to say the Champions League, but I bottled it. I already bottled it. Look, we're going to talk about this. Cole Palmer, where he should play, where we get the best out of him, and indeed, like how he could link up with Christopher Nkunku, who should be in the side imminently. Pochettino confirming that, why risk him? He was involved in terms of the matchday squad. He'll be in the side very, very soon. Of course, Chelsea are playing Newcastle United in the Cup at home in a couple of days' time. You'd kind of at this point put the farm on Nkunku playing in that game. But ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about mainly Cole Palmer today and Chelsea's odds of qualifying for Europe. Who knows, maybe the Champions League. The thing is, of course, with both Newcastle United and Manchester United exiting the Champions League, the Premier League as a league, its coefficient's not strong enough in UEFA to qualify you for the Champions League in terms of finishing fifth. I don't know if that coefficient can be cranked up by, say, God forbid, an Arsenal-Man City Champions League final. Of course, there are Premier League teams in the conference, in Europa. Maybe if Brighton and Liverpool will get to the final of Europa, does that crank up the Premier League coefficient in UEFA? Maybe. And then maybe fifth can get us Champions League. But let's not think about Champions League at the moment. We're going to think about just Europe generally and becoming a better side. Thanks for supporting the content. If you do want to show your support, please do like and subscribe. Simply hit the bell notifications icon if you have chosen to subscribe, so you actually get notified when I upload. Right then, like I said, there's 21 games left, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about that a little bit. 21 games times 3 points. Or 3 times 21, there is a potential of 63 points available left on the table. Chelsea currently have 22. So Chelsea, if we won every single game, yes, I realise that's a funny thing to say, we'd have 85 points. Heck, 85 points in a season like this would win you the Premier League, maybe. Now, we're obviously not going to do that. We're going to drop a lot of points. But how many points are we going to drop? I mean, out of the potential 63... if we were actually doing a Chelsea, for example, and looking good, let's say we drop 20 points. So we get 43 points to add to our current 22. That's 65 points. 65 points that should get you into the Champions League, 65 points. Look, last season, 4th place was, 71. Okay, fine. The season before that, 71. Right, so maybe it's 71 points that gets you into the Champions League. So, yeah, tough. I know this season is kind of tricky. What about the season before that? COVID season, 67 points, which was us, actually, who got into the Champions League 4th. All right, so maybe not 65. Yeah, it has to be late 60s. Maybe early 70s at the moment. That's the average. The average is about 71 points to get you into the Champions League. So that would make Chelsea needing an extra... ruddy heck. We'd need an extra 49 points out of the available 63. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen unless we go on like a Man City style run. So possibly 5th. If that comes to pass. But really, if Chelsea qualify for Europa or the conference for next season, that will have to be taken as a win. A Europa would have to be seen as a massive win, which is a tough place as a Chelsea fan to say that. But it's simply where we are. Of course, I think winning the FA Cup qualifies you for Europa League. Winning the Carabao Cup, which of course we're playing on Tuesday, qualifies you for the Conference League. And should Chelsea beat Newcastle on Tuesday, an striken. A team with a lot of injuries in Newcastle United. They do have a lot of injuries, and we're at home, of course. Then we'll be in the semi-finals. So 2 games away from qualification of a European competition. And a more salient point, of course, being that Chelsea would have won a trophy, which we've gone without for a couple of seasons now. But I want to talk about how we could get there, and that's a lot down also to potentially our attack clicking again, and not just erratic, crazy games like we've had of late. A solid defence, whether it's the 4 centre-backs or not. Of course, we're hoping that full-backs are reintroduced into this Chelsea side, most likely in terms of being soon Malo Gusto and hopefully, touchwood, Ben Chilwell. Other defenders to return, of course. Wesley Fofana's birthday today. He's been training. I love Wesley Fofana. Maybe we'll see him in the Chelsea side soon. Look, we're probably going to buy a defender, which is probably long-term planning for the exit of Chalobah and Thiago Silva, I think. Also, an update on Cucurella. He'll be out for 3 months. He's just had surgery, which is frustrating because he was a sort of useful player, if not mega exciting, a useful player to play on both sides as a fullback. So he'll be out. Chelsea might even look at a fullback. If we sell Martin and Cucurella's out for 3 months, I wonder if we'll try and get a cheap left back. We'll have to see. Yes, of course we're going to look at a midfielder. We've spoken about the news or headlines reflecting on Paulinho. I think that would be an excellent signing, but we will reflect on those news stories as and when they come. Of course, make sure you keep it locked to this channel, and I'll try and be the first to get these stories out to you in terms of reaction and commentary. So if you are interested in transfer news, simply subscribe. Also, of course, Victor Osimhen. I was going to today talk about a potential even lesser release clause than we reacted to in terms of a headline. It was £112 million, but now people are saying it's like £83 million. I'm going to wait a little bit longer till more news comes out about Victor Osimhen before really digging into deep. But we looked at his stats, and he is just basically a finisher before everything else. Of course, we've got Nkunku to come into the side as well, who is one of the elite finishers in European football. So that's very, very exciting. But we're going to need to have to create chances. It's all very well having finishes. It's all very well having, and I put this very much in inverted commas, attacking threat, which Chelsea apparently had loads in that first half against Sheffield, but any football fan with eyes and ears will know that was not a threatening first half performance from Chelsea. Attacking threat essentially means passing the ball around in the opponent's third, but often opponents will let you do that, and it will be part of their game plan. But it's a play, so Pochettino's been speaking about Cole Palmer, and I want to speak about Cole Palmer because in that first half, Match of the Day did an analysis of him. There's been, Pochettino since come out to media after the game and explained, I said in my complete breakdown, my post-match review, that he moved from the number 10 position in a 4-2-3-1 to the right wing. I said it on my Instagram live at halftime as well. Actually, good time to shout out my Instagram. Do follow me if you want to get interactive with me. There'll be a link in the description for my Instagram to follow me. But I explained how both Cole Palmer and Sterling looked a lot better when they switched places. Now, Pochettino's gone into detail with this about how he wasn't really finding spaces between the lines, in the pockets, playing in the hole, and moving over to the right flank. He basically ran the game. Now Chelsea generated about 3 XG in that game, and I'm pretty sure most of it was Cole Palmer. Certainly that last, he was robbed of an assist from Armando Broja when he passed the ball to him 2 yards out and he somehow missed it. It was a shocking sitter. It won't get spoken about and shouldn't get spoken about because Broja's a young player. He's still coming back from injury. We were 2-0 up at home against Sheffield United. It's one of those that will just get lost in the wash, and fair enough, fine. But that was an absolute horrific sitter, and that chance alone has got to be 1 XG. Surely by any model that XG uses, when you get the ball past you 2 yards out at an open goal, that has got to be a full goal, baby. So that was an assist robbed of Cole Palmer. And essentially moving him over to the right wing, I know he said when he signed that his favourite positions were, it sounded like he preferred the number 10 or right wing. But in this Chelsea side, for him to fully utilise what is a creative wand of a left foot, he needs to be on the right flank. He gets surrounded and crowded out in the middle. Maybe, I don't know, at youth level, he's scored and created loads of goals playing at number 10. Maybe at England under 21s as well. But at this level in the Premier League, for him to utilise what is an immense creative talent, he's got to play on that right wing, so he can fully get the ball on his left and he can open up his body shape to play more creative passes. I think Pochettino, after seeing that in a competitive game, yes, 20th place Sheffield United, but we need to obviously reiterate the fact how it's Chris Wilder's Sheffield United. They were very good. They're going to be galvanised under him. They're not giving up chances like they were under the previous gaffer. And they did very, very well in the first half to nullify us completely. So it is worthy opposition to learn from. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. And Pochettino sounded like he learned from it, saying, yeah, it didn't really work. So I think a non-negotiable for Chelsea on the right wing is Cole Palmer. Because he is our most creative playmaker. He is. And that's fine. That is just what he is. People might think, oh, he's this young kid from Man City who basically played in the academy mainly. But who else are you looking at? We haven't got an Eden Hazard. We haven't got a Cesc Fabregas. Sure, we've got Enzo Fernandez, but he's kind of more of a functional midfielder. And if he carries on adding the odd goals to his game like he did the other day, that's good. We actually looked a lot better when he came on against Sheffield. He's not really I know he makes good progressive passes, and the numbers and the data dictate that. You look at it when you deep dive Enzo, they're pretty strong. But in terms of this final third unpredictable playmaking ability, it's just frigging Cole Palmer, and that's totally fine. Like I said, we haven't got a Fabregas, a Hazard, or insert creative player of Chelsea of old here. Do you know what I mean? So, Mudryk is meant to be like a transitional sort of devastating winger, which he is. Noni Madueke, maybe a little bit more creative. He likes to play crosses in, but we don't play him. Sterling really is a finisher of moves, and he's in theory a hard worker and a calm head. I do think Sterling should sort of stay on the side for the moment. And Nkunku is a finisher of moves. He's not this creator. He's this guy who wants to go in behind, finish, play within the box, play between the lines. So we don't have creative playmaking players. Maybe we thought we'd have that a little bit more of Enzo. And of course, Pochettino even played Enzo Fernandez in the number 10 position a few times. Absolutely didn't work. And I think we all learned that was a failed experiment. And actually, that's fine. This is a new team. This is a new manager. And you can only try so much in training and be like, okay, it worked in training, but we just won't know until match day. And again, you sort of reference the Premier League table. These are all the growing pains along the way that we had to endure. Yes, of course, it's not just that. We've seen really dismal performances. We've been frustrated at the players and the manager. But along the way, in terms of how we got here mid-table, there was these just growing pains. And they're still remaining. Probably we're not even halfway through the season yet. Pochettino's first season. This totally novel, thrown together squad's first season. Sure, it would have been a great Hollywood story if they all just met up and did really well. But that would have been like a cynical story of, oh yeah, money can buy you anything in football. Do you know what it reminds me of? I don't think I've said this recently on the channel, but it kind of reminded me, and I hope it doesn't go that way, and I don't think it will. But remember when Milan, a few years ago, maybe 2017 or something, or 18, they just bought a whole new squad. They ended up getting in trouble financially, but they just bought they literally made a whole new squad and bought loads of new players, and it was a colossal failure. And they basically set them back loads, and they've only just built themselves back up to a strong team in Serie A, and of course they got to the Champions League semi-final as well, and they won the Scudetto recently. But, that took years of a rebuild because they made this mistake of just buying loads of players and trying to put a new squad together. We saw it kind of recently, not to the same level with Nottingham Forest, and how it was a bit of a dysfunctional failure. I'm not saying we're going to fail, but it's certainly tough to do. And, we're learning the hard way, and it's thrown us back a bit, and we're sort of learning about ourselves mid-table. Which, it's not justifying it, but it's kind of explaining it. And I think when you look at it like that and take a breath, you're like, okay, when it makes a little bit more sense, you kind of think, well, there's a way out then, and, with time as well. I do think that the players are good enough. I just think we're missing really key positions, and I think probably the most salient point is we're missing experience from the young players that will just inherently get better with time because they will have They will literally grow older, spend more time in England, feel more settled, spend more time with their teammates, get better chemistry, spend more time being coached by the gaffer, understand his ideas better. That stuff will come. They're not a bunch of egos that don't want to play for Chelsea, that think they're too good and like, oh, this ain't working, I want to get out of here, which might have happened a decade ago. It's not gonna, they're just going to learn together. And Cole Palmer, I think, can be very, very important for that. He's the talk of the Chelsea town at the moment, of course, being excellent yesterday. If you want my thoughts on the game in detail, do go check out my previous upload. I speak naturally about Conor Gallagher, who was excellent in that game. But Chelsea, I think, right, if we just look at the Premier League table again, say we get 40 points on top of this. Is that too ambitious? I think we can get 40 points. If we pick ourselves up a little bit and settle in and get a vital player in the January transfer market. Of course, I'll remind you to stay subscribed for transfer news. We're in 10th now. If we add 40 points, we get 62. I don't know if that's going to be 5th place, which again, there's a small chance it might get Champions League, but that should certainly get Europa League football. And Chelsea, I know they said they haven't given up on Champions League, and maybe that's a good place to psychologically be, but I sort of have. Especially with the likes of I don't think Villa are probably going to be in the title race, but they're going to be in the European place race. Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, United, City, Man City. Damn, what's going on with Man City? I'll probably talk about them later on the second channel, Football Yannick. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoy my commentary on what's going on with Chelsea, do subscribe. And follow me on Instagram. Check out my OnlyAns. Zing! Alright, friends. I hope you had a really good weekend. And of course, keep it locked. There's a game coming soon. I can't wait to see you back here on Football Therapy. Peace.